Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video I will be reviewing WandaVision, and we're lucky to be joined by the biggest WandaVision fan I know.
Hi everyone, my name is Keith, and my channel is DK Reviews, Brick Films, and more. Although I haven't uploaded in a while, I'll get back to it very soon. But I absolutely loved WandaVision. It made Wanda my favorite Marvel character, and Elizabeth Olsen, my celebrity crush. And WandaVision isn't only my favorite superhero show, it's my favorite show of all time.
See, I wasn't lying. If you haven't seen WandaVision, be aware that this video will contain spoilers, and Keith's channel will be linked in the description. Anyways, let's get on with the review. Now, my first impressions of WandaVision weren't great. And I was actually really expecting to hate this show when I first saw the trailers, to the point where when I went back to the trailers to get the footage for this video, I saw that I had actually disliked the trailers. Yikes. The reason I was scared was that Vision had, of course, just died in Avengers Infinity War, and I was very scared they were gonna, bring him back to life. I mean, Marvel's done it before with characters like Phil Coulson and, of course, everyone who died in Infinity War and was brought back in Endgame. And there's also characters who died, but Marvel found sneaky ways of bringing them back, like Groot and Gamora and Loki. And then there's Black Widow, who they're making a movie with, even though she's dead, but that's a prequel, so that's fair, but still, you get my point. I mean, Marvel even found a way to undo Quicksilver's death, kinda, but we'll get to that later in this video. So, safe to say, I was really worried that they were going to bring Vision back as well, since I can only think of a handful of characters now from the MCU that are dead for real. Vision was powered by an Infinity Stone, so he was really doomed from the start once Thanos started collecting them. That's why I'm so glad they didn't do something stupid in Endgame, having some stupid way of bringing him back to life. Another reason I didn't think I was going to like the show was because of the concept. Like, Wanda and Vision in a sitcom, I thought it sounded so silly and so stupid. And I also didn't see the purpose of it. I don't like when popular franchises just pump out a bunch of stuff just for the sake of it, which I thought this was going to be. I mean, just look at all the Star Wars shows that have been announced too. I know, hey look, Vision. It really had nothing going for it in my eyes, which is why I'm happy to say after watching it that I think it's excellent. It's my favorite thing from the MCU since Endgame. But what makes WandaVision so excellent? Well, it's quite a few things, actually.
Now, I loved the sitcoms every week. It was great. The writers of this show were brilliant to use classic sitcoms mixed with the Marvel Universe. It brought so many old and new fans into the Marvel stuff. And the parodies of each sitcom and the replicas of the sets down to the details was just so fantastic, and it was just hilarious at the same time.
Everything from the camera angles only showing one side of the house, to the music, to the manner of speech and word choice, to even the laugh track is something you can clearly identify with old sitcoms. It was so intriguing to follow the evolution of sitcoms through all the episodes, and I was always excited to see what new changes the following episode would bring to the table. Now, I wasn't one of the people who watched WandaVision week after week when it first aired. I got into the show after all the episodes had already finished airing. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I don't know how everyone could live with waiting to see the revelations of the cliffhangers in each episode.
However, I watched the episodes week to week, which made the whole experience magnificent. Because, sure, you were so disappointed by the please stand by sign at the end, but after that, you got to watch all the reviews on YouTube, and all the new theories online, and all the stupid new Mephisto stuff with new rock stars. It was all just so much fun. And everybody's crazy theories about Evan Peters, Mephisto, and the aerospace engineer. It was a lot of fun. That was my favorite part of the series. But obviously, it is a little disappointing looking back, because literally none of our theories came to be true. But it was still so much fun.
The mystery was honestly my favorite part of the show. I love the moments where the show completely dropped the sitcom style, like in the first episode where Mr. Hart was choking. It was honestly really scary, with Mrs. Hart starting off by saying stop it, as if Mr. Hart was just acting like he was joking, but slowly turning to Wanda as if asking Wanda to stop making Mr. Hart choke, since she's in control of everything. while still having the same smile on her face. The music, tone, camera angles, and aspect ratio completely changed, and it's terrifying, especially since it goes directly back to the normal sitcom style afterwards, as if nothing had happened. That, along with things showing up in color while the show was still black and white, or someone mysteriously calling out to Wanda through a radio, was all very exciting to watch. I mean, what can I say? The music's great. I'm still impressed that the show managed to have an intro song for almost every episode that fit the tone for the episode perfectly. They're all standouts. Episode 1's intro especially fits so damn well. Even Agatha All Along is a song that I've genuinely found myself listening to.
The characters of this show were so well done. I love the return of Darcy, and Jimmy Woo became one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe after this show. And the grown-up version of Monica Rambeau was really well done, I thought. I loved everything they did with Monica. I thought her journey throughout the series was very well done, and her powers were great. I just wish they brought back Lashana Lynch to play Maria Rambeau, but that was really it. And also, I was not the biggest fan of Hayward. He was a bad guy and a bad character. He didn't really have an arc, and his conclusion was dumb. I didn't mind the actor, but I think General Ross would have fit this role so much better. I also really enjoyed all the Westview residents and all the mysteries and their clues throughout the whole show. I also was a very big fan of Billy and Tommy. The two actors who played them, Julian Hillard and Jet Klein, were very, very impressive, and their characters were so much fun to watch.
And now we get to the three big stars of WandaVision. Kathryn Hahn as Agatha Harkness, Paul Bettany as Vision, and Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff. They really are the shining stars of the show, and they adapt to so many different character archetypes, emotion, and looks absolutely flawlessly.
And obviously, Agatha Harkness, played by Kathryn Hahn, was awesome. She was a great character and was a perfect antagonist for the show.
Kathryn Hahn really played the nosy neighbor and the evil witch perfectly.
Paul Bettany absolutely killed it in the series, and his stupid cameo character was himself, and as aggravating as that was, it's kind of hilarious. But, oh my god, I loved everything Marvel did with Vision and White Vision in this series, and the Ship of Theseus discussion was just so well done. But obviously, the shining star of the series was Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen. She gave an incredibly amazing performance. She perfectly embodies every stage of grief.
She actually goes through every stage of grief. She goes through denial at the beginning when she creates the whole fake sitcom world, anger in episode 3 when she violently sends Monica Rambeau back to the outside world, bargaining at the end of episode 5 when Pietro shows up, depression in episode 7, obviously, and acceptance at the very end after saying goodbye to Vision and her kids.
And Wanda's character development was amazing in this show. Her new suit was just fantastic. I loved how well they did her character, and she is just such a powerhouse of a superhero. I gotta say, my favorite part about Wanda is when she just goes crazy and uses her powers, and it doesn't hurt that Elizabeth Olsen is pretty hot. But besides that, Wanda is such a cool character, and I'm so interested in what they do with her next.
Elizabeth Olsen was just phenomenal as Wanda. Like I said in the beginning, going into the show, I didn't think it was something that was needed in the MCU. I felt that Wanda's character didn't need more development, or maybe that I just didn't care enough to see it. Well, now I can say that this was absolutely necessary for Wanda. She's lost so much, from her parents to her brother to her home and finally to her love, which was something I never thought of much until I saw the show. In the end, all I really wanted was for Vision to come back, and that's crazy because that was the very thing I feared the show would do when it was announced. This show really makes you feel for Wanda more than any movie in the MCU beforehand. I also love that WandaVision isn't afraid to show that what Wanda did was a mistake. She took control of a whole town and its inhabitants and made them her slaves. She could even be seen as the villain up until the Agatha Harkness reveal. I'm really glad that Marvel showed that Wanda isn't perfect and that she learned from her mistakes. Now, although this show is very good, it isn't perfect. No show is, and Keith and I both have a few gripes. My biggest problem with the show is the whole storyline featuring Jimmy Woo, Darcy, and Monica. While I didn't hate the sword parts in each episode, I feel the show started to slow down a bit in episode 4 when they were introduced, and every time the show would cut away from the Wanda and Vision storyline to the storyline outside of Westview, I was most of the time just waiting to get back to Wanda and Vision. Also, lines like, "So you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers?" is just terribly silly. Scenes where they really start talking about what the actual concept of the show is or sit down and watch the show just takes me out of it.
I think my biggest problem with the show was probably the Pietro Ralph Boner situation. Now, I was stoked when I saw Evan Peters because I thought it was going to be a crossover, and I'm going to be completely honest, it totally should have been. It was just such a wasted opportunity, and I would have been happy if it was just Aaron Taylor Johnson again in Evan Peters' body. I would have been happy with him being Ralph. That's fine. But the fact that they had it all used for a stupid boner joke is just, it's such a slap to the face to the fans from Marvel, and it's so awful. Like, it's meaningless. Pietro in episodes 5, 6, and 7, specifically 6. Those were so great. I've been enjoying these Disney Plus Marvel shows very, very much because they're taking characters who have gotten the back burner throughout the MCU, and these shows really make them shine, and you get to understand their characters more and more. That's why I'm looking forward to Hawkeye and Armor Wars, and why Sam's character development in Falcon and the Winter Soldier was great, and most definitely Wanda's whole character arc in WandaVision, so well done.
For sure. Next time I'll be reviewing Falcon and the Winter Soldier with another special guest as well. Thank you so much to Keith for joining me in this review. Please go check his channel out, he really deserves it. The link is in the description, and with that I want to thank everyone for watching this video.